From the Empire of Safre, orange apricot tokens. From Ilmarat, the ancestral name of Ilmara, grey marble block tokens. From the Seminine Islands, white sacks of sugar tokens. And from Supra Muindi and Sarah Maritza, magenta tokens for unprocessed cocaine leaves.
Wow, some kind of historical settlers game?
Oh, those are nice.
The lieutenant picks up a sugar token and admires it. Let's put it away.
You hold the open game box before you.
Kim wanna play?
The lieutenant looks over the rulebook before he sees something that makes his eyes go wide.
Holy shit. The average playing time for this game is 1 to 6 hours. I'm not sure we can afford to set aside that kind of time for a game.
Oh, come on.
What is detective work if not an elaborate game? You need logical inference, attention to detail, the ability to analyze your opponent's motives.
Come on, it might help us think of more creative solutions to the case.
I do feel like my thinking has become somewhat rigid. Maybe a little diversion to keep the mind limber is just what's in order.
See? He's doing the hard work himself. All he needed was a little nudge.
All right, you've convinced me. How do we play?
I read the rules already. I'll show
You
you.
explain the basic setup procedures to the lieutenant, who seems to be a quick study. You each take your bag of tokens and counters and unfold the board between you. In the center is the crown of Revachon. Radiating outward are a colorful
the
vessels,
crown?
each one supplying some raw material desired by the suzerain. Apricots from Safre, archaeological treasures from Ilmarat, sugars from the Seminine Islands, and magenta cocaine from Supra Muindi and Sarah Maritza. There's also a neat little log to keep track of your progress in case you need to put the game away and return to it later. The lieutenant goes first. He draws a contract card and moves several of his workers to the Safre territory of the board and the others to the Seminine Islands.
All right, detective, your turn.
You have a few options available to you. Will you try to fulfill contracts right away or rearrange your workers to maximize production on future turns? Remember what the rulebook said. You'll want to choose a strategy early on and stay committed to it.
We could fulfill a contract. We could let the workers rest for a while. No, we'll try to fulfill
You
a
draw
contract.
a contract card offering a number of coins in exchange for archaeological treasures. You place all your workers on the Ilmarat territory. On your next turn, you produce 6 units of archaeological treasure and fulfill the contract for a handful of coins.
Not bad, detective.
But not good enough, the lieutenant seems to be saying. As he completes his own contract card, the lieutenant is rewarded with 4 coins and a round wooden token that he places in the center of the board.
That's a market. It's worth 2 victory points.
Hey, why don't I get one of those?
Don't worry, it was mostly just luck. You'll earn some points soon enough.
What is that patronizing tone? You're one of the suzerain's trusted administrators. You may need to put the lieutenant in his place.
I'm not even sure what points are. That's part of the problem.
Points are nothing. They don't exist. They're just an arbitrary convention that games use to reward or punish players for certain behaviors.
Who came up with such a concept?
Game designers, I imagine.
Am I getting points right now?
There are some paranoid types who believe the moral intern keeps detailed score sheets for everyone in the Real Belt. But that's obviously nonsense. Otherwise, no. There are no points, just your actions and the consequences of those actions.
Just like there are no honor points. None whatsoever.
That's reassuring.
That's just the way it is.
Lieutenant doesn't seem to find much value in dwelling on the
Now,
subject.
I believe it's your turn.
Glancing over the board, you see several possible strategies. Pressing more workers into service would increase your economic output and help you to survive a possible conflict with the lieutenant. Or you could ignore your labor supply and focus on fulfilling contracts for points and resources. Those aren't your only options. You could also show your workers how much you appreciate them by investing some of that wealth in them. After all, they're the ones producing wealth for the suzerain? Well, sure, you can do that. It's just not a terribly effective strategy, but then it's up to you.
Yeah. We'll focus on fulfilling contracts. Or we could invest. Pressing more workers isn't good. For me. We'll invest in our existing
To the lieutenant's
workers.
puzzlement, you spend several turns building various improvements to your territorial infrastructure. Soon, your workers have access to clean water, paved roads, and basic hobbies. In return, they produce one extra resource per turn.
Gaze on your workers like a benevolent parent.
Too bad investing in your workers just isn't worth many points.
What do you mean?
Take a look at the scoring tables in the back.
Lieutenant turns to one of those appendices you skipped over earlier.
You see in Table 8C that investing in territorial infrastructure multiplies your final victory point total by 1, which is to say not at all. Whereas erecting monuments in Revachol gives you a multiplier of 5.
So you're saying that the values of the ruling class are completely divorced from the well-being of the people who generate their wealth?
Yes, precisely.
Nonsense. Remember what the lieutenant said. If points are arbitrary, who cares about winning? You should reject their system and just play how you want. Now it's the lieutenant's turn to respond. He moves aggressively onto the Safre territory. Soon, his workers are producing a steady supply of extremely valuable apricots. For several turns, you struggle to respond to the lieutenant's burgeoning apricot empire. Eventually, you relocate the majority of your workers to Supremawindi and Saramoritza, where they begin producing a bumper crop of cocaine tokens. You draw a new contract card. According to the text, there's an aristocrat willing to trade a large supply of cocaine for a number of coins and access to a rare bonus. Amplified music worth 7 victory points. You know, this isn't unlike the situation the historical Revacholian suzerainty faced in Safre in the middle of the last century.
Oh, is it hypnotic music? Is it disco music? Tell me more.
Well, the suzerain was looking for new markets for all the cocaine it was producing, and it settled on Safre. By introducing cocaine into Safre under exclusive contract, the suzerain created an extremely valuable captive market for an extremely addictive product.
Wow, that's brilliant.
If you could somehow get the lieutenant's workers addicted to your cocaine, you could not only make them less productive, you would also force the lieutenant to pay you for your cocaine tokens each turn.
Can you even do that?
Yes, you can. It's right there in the rules. Now's your chance. Show the lieutenant what happens when he patronizes you. You've reached a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression?
Sorry, Kim, you're not going to like this. We've introduced the lieutenant's workers to cocaine. The lieutenant's face goes stony as you take your turn. He does not appreciate you getting all his workers addicted to cocaine.
With each passing turn, you slowly bleed the lieutenant of coins as his own workers become less productive and more dependent on your magenta cocaine tokens.
Oh, God.
As a matter of historical fact, this is almost exactly what happened in Safre. To this day, fully half of the former Safre Empire remains dependent on international aid in exchange for a steady supply of cheap produce.
Isn't that what they did in the apricot suzerainty in real life?
More or less.
Lieutenant says, but he's thinking less about matters of historical wrongdoing than how to get out of the jam you've put him in.
Realizing victory is slipping away, the lieutenant launches a desperate gambit. Protectionism. By erecting tariffs on your cocaine, he hopes to starve you out of the market at the risk of incurring the suzerain's disfavor. The end game is upon you. Do you escalate the trade war with the lieutenant in hopes of crushing him with your economic might? Or do you ignore his aggression and focus on building the mighty victory column structure in Revachol herself. Alternatively, you could throw the whole game away by trying to build a public education system for the children of your workers. The choice is yours.
Yeah, public education.
There's a reason very few players ever attempt to build a public education system for their worker tokens. It's extremely expensive and never pays off. By design, your boondoggle nearly bankrupts the suzerain's treasury, and you suffer a significant penalty to your final score.
Ouch.
Your tenant says, cringing at your spectacular failure. You told me that points are arbitrary. I decided to play the game how I wanted instead.
The lieutenant opens his mouth, as if to issue a blistering retort, then hesitates.
You know, Detective, there's something admirable about that, in its own way. Now, let's tally up the scores, shall we?
Computing the final scores is almost a game unto itself. You each spend an inordinate amount of time making stacks of coins, consulting tables, and struggling with basic addition and multiplication. After double, then triple checking your maths, you have your final score. -5 victory points. You'll be lucky if the suzerain doesn't have your whole family executed for such a pitiful performance.
I've got 20 points.
Lieutenant says, slightly embarrassed at the point differential.
Well, there's always next time. Figuratively, I mean. There's no way we have time to play this game again. Now, let's clean up and get back to work.
You hold the open game box before you.
Alright, let's put it away again. We will play this again. We will play this again, you know. Ah, it's raining again. We had a nice game of Suzerainity. But what to do now? What to do? That Suzerain game seems a little bit depressing, but what can you do? But who determines the winner? I think that's the main thing, right? Who determines the winner? Maybe it's not the Suzerain who can determine the winner. Still cannot go through there because there's war. There's actual war here. Go back to our friends in the fishing village and see if anything's changed. Or maybe we can find a dead phasmid after all that time. Still need to find Cindy the scholar. Whatever's going on here. Investing into... oh. Is this area open now? No? Revachol, Martinez. And here, everything's dead now?
The trap is full of locusts, but they poor thing.
Still the poor things. Still the poor things. Mortar courage still melting? Hey.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
Did you know I got shot?
Even I can see that. I told you not to bring your trouble with you, policeman. We've got troubles of our own here. Though I suppose you took the worst of it. Turns out you were your own ill omen.
Guess you were right, the men with guns were coming for me after all.
I'm not sure those were the last of the men with guns either. There are always more coming for your kind, officer.
Well, I'm off then. I'm off. Hey there.
Officer, what happened? You're limping. Why are you limping? You look terrible.
You're not limping. You're you. She sounds almost disappointed with you, reprimanding you for falling and hurting your knee.
Huh. You seem angry, why?
Look at you. You can barely walk.
Huh. I'm a cop. I don't merely exist in this world. I live in the between, life and death.
Everyone does that, in a way. You don't have to get shot for that.
She waves her hand dismissively.
What happened to you anyway? We heard gunshots from the town. They were closer than usual.
There was an exchange of fire on Rue de Saint-Guylaine. It's nothing to be worried about, madame.
You should see the other guys. They're all dead.
So you're a killer? That's good, I guess. Better than being dead.
Well, I'm not a killer. I'm a cop.
I guess you are. I understand that's how it goes.
I have a question for you.
Of course. Can I help you with something?
No. Actually not. Not at all. She's gone too, but what about this boat here? You should ask the owner before you take this boat to the island. And who is the owner of this boat? Is that you?
Aye, the sea's gonna calm down soon, I can feel it. The wind is turning southeast. What's on your mind, officer?
Nothing much. I'm trying to find the owner of the boat. Any one of you is the owner of the boat? Are you?
Man, you're like bleeding now. Reality's really messed you up.
Huh. We seen you. And you?
The legend! He's back! And firstly, I got smokes and piss and a little speed to spice things up.
Yeah, we would really like some
Uncle.
cigs.
Uncle.
Wake up.
There's no waking him.
Okay. Oh well. Well, this is still not open. I'd like to get to an island, to something, someone, somewhere. I'd like to do anything. Anything at all. We need money, we need these cigs. We might need to visit Ray and sell him some strange things. I think that's what we should do, Kim. And then we can make the magic happen again. But I don't know if there will really be some magic happening. Maybe there is no magic. Maybe there is actually nothing. Maybe it's just a calm day in River Shoal and us trying to catch a phasmid, eh? Ha! Good old Phasmidian times. The world was still okay.
A few locusts trudge along the wall. Poor thing.
No one in there? We've got this thing again.
The dome-shaped plastic boy.
No more boy for us. What's in here? Yeah, there's the other trap, and then the
The
last
trap is filled with dead and dying. Poor thing.
We need to check the last trap, though. Or maybe look at this thing again.
A row of ghostly shades facing a crumbling wall. With another 7 shades, a cold sea.
Yeah. Oh, we've had that. We've had all of it. There was a mass shooting, you know. And you, hey there.
Always my pleasure to be of assistance to the...
To be of assistance, but you're not the man Who has that? Oh, what's going on here? Absolutely no way through this door. Oh, great, thank you. That was so helpful. Well, it was in a way. Not gonna lie.